And just like that, the Philadelphia Eagles are back on the field. The Eagles began their rookie mini camps yesterday. So all of the guys, from the draft class and all the guys trying out for the team were on the field. So we got to see our first look at these young guys. And a lot of people were talking about Jalen Carter. So I'm going to talk about what we saw from him, if he was in shape. Also, I want to talk about Deandre Swift and why he chose the number 0. It's probably the best answer I've ever heard. And lastly, we'll talk about Deebo Samuels for like a half a minute, maybe that. Jay-Z said a great quote back in the day. He said, for the rest of y'all haters, y'all get half a bar. F y'all. So we're going to talk about Deebo for a half a bar. So let's talk about it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? This is your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today, like I said, we are going to talk about Deebo's hating at. We're going to talk about Jalen Carter coming to rookie camp, how he looked, and we're going to talk about what Deandre Swift had to say about his number change. Before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 10K. Would love for you guys to join that ride. So let's hop right into it, man. I'm going to start with Deebo's salty, sour he's an angry person. He's an angry person, and after this video I might have to call somebody to help him, with that emotional damage that he's dealing with. But he did come out and talk junk about basically all of our players. He was talking about how the Eagles are his most hated team now, that we would have lost. They only played with 10 players. James Bradbury's not that good. He was saying a whole bunch of stuff, and I think it's cute. I think it's funny. Everybody has been in that situation where you may have lost a Madden game or something like that, right? I remember losing my first Madden game to my father and being like, you know what? You're trash, bro. You suck. I know I lost, but you're still trash. Didn't it make sense then? Doesn't make sense now with Deebo saying it. So it is what it is. You're upset. We get it. We have a whole nother year. I think we play them during the season, so I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play these guys, and I hope that we beat them by even more. I hope that we just humiliate them even more. They played with 9 last time. We're gonna beat you like you playing with 8, with 7. We're gonna put you out there with a basketball team. That's what we're gonna do, man. I love all the hate that the Eagles are getting from all these guys in the NFL. So I wanted to talk about that, but that's enough. I said enough about it. You guys let me know what you think about him. I also want to talk about Deandre Swift, and we'll leave Jalen Carter for the last. So Deandre Swift, obviously there's a lot of new numbers coming into Philly. There's a lot of new numbers coming into all NFL teams, right? The Eagles did put in a stake for the Eagles, or for the NFL in general, to have players wearing the number 0. So the Eagles finally have their agent 0. It is going to be Deandre Swift. He chose the number 0. So there's two sides of this, right? And I'll tell you what he said, why he chose it, but there's two sides to this, right? It puts pressure on you because the amount of jokes that we can make if you don't do anything, right? Your number 0, don't give us 0 production. There's so much now pressure, I feel like, so much made up pressure, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody's had 0 before, so now we have the opportunity to use your playing number against you with your production. So don't let us do that. Don't let us do that. But at the same time, it's cool. It's a dope thing to be the first guy in Philly with that 0. I know he's from Philly. He's a huge Eagles fan, so I think it's really cool for him, and I think that he's going to do very well. I think that this is going to be a big year for him. I won't sit here and say he's going to be the number 1 back in the league. He's going to be the best back we ever seen, but I think he's going to see his production shoot up, and I think he'll be able to stay healthy. I think that this team is gotten way better over the past couple of years of keeping our guys healthy, knock on wood, but yeah, I mean, you look just 2 or 3 years ago, I felt like every week we were losing major players, and we were losing full depth charts. We were losing full position groups, right? You were losing 2 or 3 cornerbacks at a time. Lately, it's felt like we're getting better at that. Maybe it's the lack of mandatory camps. Maybe it's the lack of going too hard in these practices during the week. Could be a bunch of different things, but I think that he'll be healthy this year, and I think that he's going to give us some really good production. Now, the one thing that made me I'm getting a Deandre Swift jersey. I just am, and it's because of the quote he said. All right, so they asked him why he chose 0 for his jersey, and his response was, now if you're a Cowboys fan, you might want to put your hands over your ears or something, or maybe just click past this part, but he said, why is he picking 0? And he said that's because the Cowboys have 0 NFC championship appearances in his lifetime. I mean, you can't answer that. You cannot answer that question any better. You cannot answer that question any better. You really can't. And then Micah Parsons, weird. I like Micah Parsons. I'm a huge Penn State fan, but Micah Parsons comes out and talks about, oh, you just came around the block. Bro, you young too. You ain't never seen them win anything either. Like, you just because you a fan, don't act like you've seen something you didn't see. Micah Parsons was born in the era of MP3s. He was not born in the era of VHSs. So you did not see anything that the Cowboys did. So I just think that it's the funniest thing with these Cowboys fans and Cowboys players and just the Cowboys in general. They are so hurt that the Eagles are having a good time, that we're happy, that we're having fun, we're winning. You know, it's something they haven't done in about 27 years, but who's counting? I am. But anyway, so let's get to Jalen Carter, man. Jalen Carter, look, he is going to be under the microscope for the rest of this offseason, and whether it's unfair, whether it's fair, you guys can decide that. But he's going to be the talk for a while, probably into the season. They're going to be watching how healthy he is, how in shape he is, how much he's staying out of trouble off the field. So shout out to him, man. You know, look. He was asked about it. He was asked about his pro day, and he straight up just said, look, that was on me. I should have been more, prepared. I should have been ready. I should have been more conditioned. He felt he was conditioned. He just wasn't. It is what it is, And Nick Sirianni even went on to kind of back him up, which I really love to see. So I'm going to bring that up right now, and I'm going to read it to you. So just give me 1 second. All right, so Nick Sirianni was asked about Jalen Carter, and this is what he had to say, which I thought was pretty interesting, and I like that he's backing up his players. So Nick Sirianni had to say, I think what you'll see when we're going out there is that we're trying to get everybody back into shape. Football playing shape, Sirianni said. These guys have been in hotels. They've been on pre-draft 30 visits. They've been getting ready for pro days. They've been getting ready for the combine. So to say that any of them are in really good football shape and they're ready to play a game tomorrow, I would say that's inaccurate. None of these guys are. Now, of course, everybody, whenever they write an article about people, they always got to take it and spin it and be like, oh, well, that may be true, but Jalen Carter is blah, blah. That's a whole nother story for another. They talked mad junk about him in there, so I'm not going to really go too far into it, but it is what it is. I like that Nick Sirianni is backing up his players. I like that Nick Sirianni and the staff in general have these guys back. They're not just going to throw them under the bus and be like, well, he's got to be better. This is a two-way street, and I say this all the time. I've asked a couple of prospects, at the combine, at the draft, what was it they were looking out of their coaching staff, and it's to bring the best out of them. It's a two-way street. Just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're going to play well in a system. I mean, it really does come down to your coaching. It really does come down to how comfortable you feel with your players, your staff, and I think stuff like this shows how much he cares about his players. We all saw that, when they first met, when him and Nolan and Jalen Carter first met, Nick Sirianni being him, when they all first met, we saw he said, we're going to care about you. We're going to, make sure that you're good, but we're going to have fun. We're going to make sure that we're highly, highly motivated, highly, highly dedicated, and we're just going to win. That's what we want to do here. So stuff like this proves that. Stuff like this shows, hey, you guys might see something on the screen. We see something totally different. We have faith in our players. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm just so ready. I am so ready for this season to actually start, for all this talk to end. People hating on Jalen Carter. I'm ready for people to start talking about Nolan Smith. I got to do it. I'm going to have to do it because my girlfriend keeps sitting here like, why is nobody talking about Nolan Smith? Nobody talking about Nolan. So we might have to do that next video. But like I said, Jalen Carter is going to be under the microscope for this whole offseason. He's the number 9 pick. He's one of, if not the best player in this draft coming into this draft. So people are going to be watching him and they're going to be hawking him, and they're probably going to unfairly judge a lot of things that he does. But at the end of the day, if we win, I really don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. So y'all let me know what y'all thinking. I know today wasn't really much news. We don't have much news to come out with. Just wanted to kind of give you a little update on kind of what we were seeing, what I was seeing, what I was hearing. But let me know what you're thinking. Is there anything you want me to talk about? Is there any questions you have? Because I think the next video, I'm just going to kind of run through these comments because I've been wanting to do it for a while. But now I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Y'all know what it is. It's Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace!
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you!
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog. Thanks for tuning in.